maybe not completely different. I wasn't able to hear yesterday, so I'm not sure what to say about Fortissimo. If I repeat something, please throw something and I'll move on. What I want to do is give you a quick introduction to I4MS, and I'll explain what that is and how it relates to Fortissimo, and then introduce you to the Fortissimo project and its objectives. And then I'm going to give you some snapshots of some of the ongoing experiments. So I should own up that I'm going to talk a little bit about cloud, a lot about HPC, and much more about using HPC. And it's not about R&D, it's about solving business problems, and that's the context of what I'm going to talk about. Fortissimo is part of I4MS. It's an initiative belonging to the Factory of the Future programme, funded by the European Commission. Stands for ICT Innovation for Manufacturing SMEs. This is a much used or misused slide. All I want to say is that the target is to try and support, I4MS supports SMEs and mid-caps in a range of sectors to make use of new technology. And it does that in advanced robotic solutions, in intelligent sensor-based equipment and laser applications, but also in HPC Cloud simulation services. The focus being on HPC and simulation services with a very small cloud. So Fortissimo is a large project. It belongs to I4MS, as I just explained, and it complements, I4MS program complements other EC programs supporting SMEs. So there are programs specific to support take-up of technology by SMEs. And it's not an R&D project, it's not developing new technology, it's making use of existing technology, and the focus is on problem solving. And it's not about science. Well, maybe it is about science, but not about scientific research and solving big science problems. It's about solving the problems related to the business of SMEs. I'll come back to that again. And the idea, eventually and sustainably, is to create a marketplace of all the players, all the service providers, necessary to support those SMEs. And the target is to bring the benefits that we see with HPC, that we know from large industries, to the, well, in the US they talk about the missing middle, and here we're talking about SMEs. It's bringing the advantages that we know are there in simulation design to small companies that haven't used it yet, or only use it in a limited way. Wolfgang also mentioned that earlier. Fortissimo is a large project. It will cost around 22 million euros and will receive 16 million euros funding. It's growing in size. We started with around 45 partners, and the current estimate is it's going to be about 130 partners by the time we finish in the year after next. It's all based around experiments. We started with 20, and each one of them has between 2 and 4 partners, or 2 and 5 partners, and typically they're organised like this. They're end-user centric. So it starts with the problem defined by an end user and brings together all the players necessary to solve that problem. And typically in HPC, because HPC is complex, it's not just about providing access to systems. Of course you need an HPC service provider, but you may need experts in using HPC. You most likely need application experts and software providers. So typically these end users are not using their own software, they're either using commercial ISV software or maybe software from research providers. So each experiment brings all those people together. The project's growing. We started with 20 experiments and we've had 2 open competitive proposals. They closed in January 2014 and June 2014. We are going to be including 22 new experiments from the first call and another 11 plus experiments from the second call. And the idea of the marketplace, which should be sustained beyond the lifetime of the project, is to bring everybody together that can provide these services, these resources, to solve business problems from end users. And I said resources, but I don't just mean computing infrastructure. I mean consulting services, expertise. So all those roles you saw in that picture, that you see over here, all those roles are the resources that we bring together in the marketplace, providing solutions to end users' problems. The vision, the long-term vision, and it will remain to be seen just how far we go in the project to solve that, realise that vision, is to provide sustainable simulation as a service, a cloud of services or an ecosystem of resources that provides simulation as a service. Based on HPC and providing easy access to HPC resources and revolving around a marketplace, this Fortissimo marketplace. I've got a couple of more architecture and techie slides, and then I'll go into the use cases. Simulation as a service is the overall target. It includes the use of HPC platform as a service, but it also involves various flavours of bringing people together. So matchmaking of the resources and the consultancy needed to solve the problem, registry of services. This is the overall picture of the Fortissimo services. This is the marketplace picture we can think of. And here you have a view of the actual HPC centres within Fortissimo, the HPC service providers, and how they are linked together in various ways with various options. If you look very carefully, there's the use of OpenStack for some service options there. These are the centres involved in the project. All of them providing large-scale HPC systems. It's not the case that we're only focusing on supercomputing. Many of the experiments really focus on using the smaller clusters that are appropriate for the problems they're willing to solve, or interested in solving. I'll skip over this. There's more information on the web page. We had quite a range of engineering, manufacturing and scientific applications in the first set of experiments. Some of them you could say are the usual suspects, so CFD for automotive design, but also some non-classical cases, analysis of civil engineering and snow transport, design of metal flanges, I'll show an example later, and so on. Quite a range of applications. In Core 1 we focused on manufacturing and engineering, plus some others. You see here an application for smart cities, but the bulk of these were on manufacturing and engineering applications, or the business problems that SMEs had when they put in proposals for the core. There was more competition in the final core. We had a larger number of proposals submitted. We had more than 80 proposals. We were only able, because of the budget, to fund approximately 11. What was interesting, the focus was on manufacturing. We had quite a little cluster here of maritime or naval design proposals submitted and rated as high quality. So there's an interesting non-classical area there of maritime naval architecture. Lots of other applications in manufacturing composite structures or complex fluids, microscopy and some automotive related or motorcycle helmets. I'll give you now some examples of current experiments. This is not manufacturing. It's about providing computational support for architectural design. This is one of the early success cases, if you like, because the company that produces this software, Integrated Environmental Solutions, has already moved to be able to provide this HPC-based solution to its customers as a web portal. So that's already up and running. And the key thing there is that the users know they're going to pay for and get advanced performance, but they don't need to understand about HPC. So it's provided as a portal. They're using the same software as before, it's just faster. Here's a more looking forward approach. It's also a message from the sponsors. there's scapos involved in this. It's about looking at multi-physics simulations, which is more cutting-edge, new technology, but providing a mechanism for new users to evaluate these types of simulations on an HP system without having to install all the software itself. The example being taken is warming or heating linked to electromagnetic simulations. This is, if you like, a more classical case using CFD to do aerodynamic design. It's an interesting one because it's an SME, a world-leading SME manufacturer of hypercars. These sort of vehicles, I believe, travel at around 400 kilometers an hour plus. So it's not mass market, but it's an interesting case of providing HPC to improve their product, and a rather exciting product that is. But not just end user, but consulting companies are also involved. So this is this case we have an SME that's an engineering consulting company. They provide both simulation software as resellers, but also services. And they're interested in setting up services that they can provide off-the-shelf solutions to sets of customers or specific sectors of customers. And I've got some more latest results that I'll skip through depending on whether I get told I'm running out of time. I think I have enough time to show you some of the other results. The first of these is a company from Slovenia that won an award from IDC for the most innovative SME or business case. It's a company that manufactures these small aircraft. And we're going to be working on with them to actually understand what the benefits, the real benefits were for the impact they have in using larger scale HPC on the Arctur system for their business case. So unfortunately what I'm going to show you is not that business case, not that return on investment, but this is a techie solution and we have to move beyond that. So we'll be looking to actually investigate what does it mean for your business. What they've been able to do so far is to provide much more accurate simulations by using larger compute resources. So in this case, much finer modelling of the simulation. Another application is in the petrochemical oil and gas industry, and what they're doing here is to use simulation to analyse the process of tightening bolts. That sounds trivial, but we're talking about very large pipes, very large bolts, very large systems, partially in dangerous situations. So we may be in nuclear reactors or undersea, and the manpower required to actually correctly tighten these to avoid leaking is very cost intensive, and so the simulations are about finding out how best to deal with that situation. And finally, some examples from an area that I used to be involved in, crashworthiness simulation. And here the issue is they're looking at a variety of simulations, and the idea is to increase the capacity for being able to deal with a range of problems. And I'm a fan of crashworthiness simulation, so you get some accurate simulations dealing with a range of problems for that, the business case for that end user. There's further information on the web page, also the IFMS web page. You may also be interested in joining a user group on LinkedIn for IFMS to find out what Fortissimo is doing, also what the other projects are doing. And thanks for your attention.